Namaskaram girls. Till now we have learned meaning of international trade, subject matter to international trade and meaning of trade, two different trades, internal and international. And then we have started learning the classical theory of international trade. In that we have completed the first one, that is absolute cost advantage theory given by Adam Smith. In that he given two countries, two commodities. The country which is benefited or specializing in a particular product in the least cost can produce more goods and export to other countries. We have seen two commodities on that day, isn't it girls? Have you remembered? Wheat and cloth we have studied, and India and China. So India is a very good producer of wheat, and India can produce more wheat and it can export to China. On the other hand, it can import the cloth from China, we have learned. The next one is David Ricardo's comparative cost advantage theory. First one is absolute cost. So the production cost which is given advantages to the country can specialize in the particular product, produce more product, and they can export. This is the first type, that is absolute cost. Comparative cost is they are comparing the cost relatively. If the cost of production is least or lower, they can produce more. That is comparative cost advantage theory. It was David Ricardo has formulated the theory in the year 1817. A systematic theory of comparative cost advantage. Later it was refined by J.S. Mill, Marshall and Tawasi. This already I told. So according to Ricardo, what he told, a country can gain from trade when it produces at relatively lower cost. So if a country is producing the products relatively lower cost than the other country, it can gain from the trade. Even when a country enjoys absolute advantages in both goods, though it is producing both the goods in lower cost, it has to compare relatively least. Let me give you an example, then you can understand easily. Here also they have given two countries and two products. It is also 2 into 2 model. That is two countries, two commodities model only. Ricardo has also given that what he is telling, and he is also considered, as Adam Smith considered labor is the only element as an assumption of two countries. He is also giving some assumption. Like Adam Smith we have studied, isn't it? Have you remembered girls? Labor is homogeneous and labor price is fixed, determined by the labor's cost. We have studied the same way. 2 into 2 model, that is two countries and two commodities. And labor is the only factor which is included in this, isn't it? We have studied on that day. And they are equal efficiency. All the labors are equal in efficiency. And they are mobile within the country, but perfectly immobile between the country. Within the country they can mobile. They can move within the country, but they cannot move outside the country. Immobile outside of the country. That means the labor should not move to the foreign countries. So these are the assumptions, and it is production is the subject to the law of constant returns. So whatever you are giving the factor of production, they will get as a output. And foreign trade is free from all barriers, no changes in the technology, and perfect competition, full employment, no government intervention. As we said, capitalist economies only. No government intervention means the economy should be a capitalist economy. So these are the assumptions given by David Ricardo. Based on the assumptions, he has given how comparative cost advantage works. Here they have given the two countries, that is US and India, America and India. And as I told, two products, that is cloth and wheat. So the US is producing see, using absolute cost is evident that India has absolute cost between both cloth and wheat, isn't it? Comparing with US, India has both product, we have absolute advantage because we are producing in the less cost. But it has to concentrate on the production of wheat. Why? See, comparing this, the difference is only 10. Here, comparing with this, the difference is 40. So, relatively, the production of wheat is lowest cost, isn't it? பாருடா, cloth prepare பண்றதுக்கு பதிலா நம்ம யூஎஸ்ல இருந்து இம்போர்ட் பண்ணிட்டோம்னா we are only spending 10 rupees additional. பட் ஆனா வீட்டை நம்ம வந்து வாங்கக்கூடாது யூஎஸ்ல இருந்து, ஏன்னா 40 rupees we are giving more than our production. So what can we do? Comparatively, we can concentrate on wheat production. We can import cloth. Do you understand, girls? இப்போ நீ வீட்டை வந்து ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணாம ரெண்டுலையுமே we are enjoying the absolute cost advantage because comparing with US cloth production and also wheat production, we are in the lower cost. But in that, if you comparative with the production cost of US, producing wheat is more cost advantage comparatively. So we are comparing. Cloth import பண்றதுனால we are not spending much. We are going to just spend 10 rupees only additional. But if we export this, we will gain 40 rupees. So from the 40, we can give 10 rupees. The 30 rupees we will get as a gain. So this only they have given. So America is the comparative cost advantage in the cloth production. So America has to export the cloth and India has to export the wheat. So with the trade, America can get 1 unit of cloth and 1 unit of wheat using by 200 units of labor, isn't it? So they have given exchange rate also they have given. For example, wheat ஒன்றை ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு பதிலாக கிளாத்தை ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணால் they will produce 1.2 because 120 இல்லையா, 120 100 டிவைட் பண்ணால் என்ன கிடைக்கும் 1.2. பட் அதே சமயத்தில் நம்மளை யோசித்து பாரு, ஒரு வீட்டை ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணேன்னா கிளாத்துக்கு என்ன கிடைக்கும், கிளாத்துக்கு பதிலாக போட்டால் 0.88 தான். ஸோ இட் இஸ் visible that India should export wheat, concentrate only on the production of wheat, and it has to export wheat. And it can import cloth from US. So this they have given us a diagram. Labors required for the production of cloth. For 1 unit of cloth. இங்கே labor required for 1 unit of wheat. Now we are going to draw for India and US. இந்தியாவுக்கு clothனா here cloth, here wheat, isn't it? So what is the wheat here? 80, இங்கே 90 இல்லையா? வீட்டுக்கு 100, 120. So, India can, slopes are not equal, isn't it? இதில் பாரு, இந்த ஸ்லோப் வந்து slopes are not equal. So, at the end, India has to produce wheat and it has to export to US. Then it will gain from that export. And what is the criticism of this? Labor cost is a small portion of the total cost. Here they are considering only the labor as the factor. But for the production, while we are talking about the production, labor is only a part. They are not all together, isn't it? So they are a part. And then as assumptions they have given, all the labors in the country are equal in efficiency. But it is not real, isn't it? The efficiency of the labors may be differ. So these are the criticism of David Ricardo's theorem. And then the next one, modern theory. In the modern theory, we are going to study about the HO theorem. So it is also developed by Swedish economist Eli Heckscher. And Bertil Ohlin. O-H-L-L-I-N. He developed the theory in the year 1990. They did not both work for the HO theorem. This is called HO theorem. Why? Because Heckscher and Ohlin theorem. Heckscher developed this theory in the year 1990. They did not work together and prepare this. He has worked in the year 1990. After 15 years, Ohlin, who was a student of Heckscher, developed this theory and it became HO theorem. They have talked about two factors in the theory. Till now, Adam Smith and David Ricardo, they talk about only one factor of production, that is labor. But in the HO theorem, they talked about two factor of production, that is labor and capital. I already told you labor, K is denoted for capital in economics, L for labor, K for capital. So they talked about two things in the theory, that is labor and capital. It is also called as factor endowment theory. The other name for HO theory is factor endowment theory because it talks about the factors, that is two factors. One is labor, the another one is capital. So what is it? It is developed by Heckscher and Ohlin. So different factors of production between countries and different proportions required in their productions. Here also they consider two countries, two commodities and two factors. In the first two theorems, we talked 2 into 2 model, isn't it? 2 countries and 2 commodities. Here 2 countries, 2 commodities, 2 factor of production. Okay. So this is called 2 into 2 into 2 model. That is 2 country, 2 commodity, 2 factors. Till now Adam Smith and David Ricardo, they talked about only the labor. Here they talked about labor and the capital. And countries have identical demand. They use the same production technology. There will be a perfect competition both in the labor and the capital market. And also the factor market is both countries. So according to HO theorem, what it talks about? What is HO theorem or theory? That is nothing but, I already told you, they talked about 2 factors, that is labor and capital. What they told, the labor intensive, the labor abundant countries abundant means plenty. Should produce only the labor intensive product. Labor intensive good. The countries which have capital abundance, capital in plenty, they have to produce capital intensive products or goods. This is their theorem. Do you understand, girls? Labor source, human source எங்க நிறைய இருக்கோ அவங்க அந்த ஹியூமன் ரிசோர்ஸஸை வச்சு என்னத்தை நிறைய ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ண முடியுமோ அதை ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணணும். கேபிட்டல் மணி சோர்ஸ் எங்கே இருக்கோ, இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் சோர்ஸ் எங்கே இருக்கோ அந்த இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட்டை வச்சு எங்கே பண்ண முடியுமோ பண்ணணும். ஸோ தே கேன் எக்ஸ்சேஞ்ச். லேபர் ரிசோர்ஸஸ் இருக்கிற கண்ட்ரீஸ், லேபர் அபண்டண்டாக இருக்கிறது, லேபர் இன்டென்சிவ் குட்ஸை ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணி தே கேன் எக்ஸ்போர்ட் டு capital countries. The countries which are plenty in the amount of capital, they can produce the capital intensive goods and they can export to these countries. So this is labor and capital. Appo the country A and B nu edutitena, if it is labor abundant, capital kammiya irundhuchna, it is greater than, they have to produce the labor intensive good. Otherwise do you understand, girls? இங்க labor abundant, இங்க capital abundant. So capital abundant இருக்க country labor abundant இருக்கிறதுல இருந்து வாங்கிக்கலாம். இல்லைன்னா இப்படி கூட போட்டுக்கலாம், A and B. This is capital abundant country, this is labor abundant country. So if the country A is labor abundant, they can produce labor intensive goods and they can export to B. The country is capital abundant, they can produce capital abundant intensive goods and they can export to A. This is called HO theorem. In the HO theorem, Leontief paradox. There is a paradox in the HO theorem. What do you mean by paradox? Paradox அப்படிங்கிறது contrary, opposite அப்படின்னு அர்த்தம். லியோன்டிஃப்ங்கிறவர் சொல்லியிருக்காரு. What? The capital abundant countries produce labor intensive goods. லேபர் அபண்டண்டாக இருக்குது, கேபிட்டலை ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க. What do you mean by that? Do you understand? இது என்னன்னு புரியுதா? ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் இந்தியா அண்ட் யூஎஸ் எடுத்துக்கோ. இந்தியா பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் லேபர் அபண்டன்ட் கண்ட்ரி, யூஎஸ் கேபிட்டல் அபண்டன்ட் கண்ட்ரி. ஸோ இந்தியா, what would you think? நம்ம லேபர் அபண்டண்டாக இருக்கிறதுனால we are weak in capital abundance, so we have to concentrate on capital intensive goods அப்படின்னு ஆரம்பிச்சு they will specialize in the capital intensive goods and they will started exporting the capital intensive goods. The same way American capital intensive நிறைய இருக்கிறதுனால they will concentrate on the labor intensive goods, so they will employ more laborers and they will started working for the labor intensive goods and they will be specialized in the labor intensive by the division of labor and other things, and they will started exporting the labor intensive goods. Though it is a capital intensive country, they will export the labor intensive goods. So that is the paradox. HO தியரத்தில் capital abundant country இருந்தால் capital intensive goods export பண்ணணும், labor abundant countryனா labor intensive goods abundant பண்ணணுங்கிறது it's a theory. But in paradox, Leontief he gave a paradox that sometimes the labor abundant country, they will concentrate in the labor intensive, capital abundance country, they will concentrate in the labor intensive goods, and the labor abundant countries will concentrate on capital intensive goods and they will be specialized in that, isn't it? இப்போ நம்மளுக்கு ஒரு விஷயத்தை தெரியலன்னு சொல்லும்போது அதை கற்றுக்கிறதுக்காக நம்ம என்ன செய்வோம், நிறைய டெக்னாலஜிஸ் கற்றுக்குவோம் இல்லையா, புதுசாக வழியை கண்டுபிடிப்போம், ஷார்ட்கட் ரோட்ஸ் கண்டுபிடிப்போம். ஸோ வி வில் பி ஸ்பெஷலைஸ் இன் தட், அது இட் வில் ஹேப்பன். ஸோ ஹெச்ஓ தியரம்ங்கிறது இட் நாட் ரியல் அப்படிங்கிறது தான் இவருடையது. அண்ட் தென் ஸோ த லிமிட்டேஷன்ஸ் ஆர் த கிரிட்டிசிசம்னு பார்த்தா the labor and the capital, it can be changed over a period of time, isn't it? It's not constant, and the efficiency of the labor may differ. So labor efficiency is constant, equal அப்படிங்கிறது it's a criticism. And now we are going to see the difference between the classical theory and the factor endowment theory. Classicalக்கும் modern theory or factor endowment theoryக்கும் what is the difference? What is the difference? நம்ம இது வரைக்கும் ரெண்டு படிச்சிட்டோம் இல்லையா, ஆடம் ஸ்மித்தோடது இதுவும் படித்தோம். ஸோ இட் டாக்ஸ் அபவுட் ஆன் த லேபர் தியரி வேல்யூ, தே டாக் அபவுட் ஒன்லி த லேபர் தியரி இல்லையா. ஆடம் ஸ்மித் அண்ட் ஆல்ஃப்ரட் டேவிட் ரிகார்டோ, தே டாக்ஸ் அபவுட் ஒன்லி த லேபர். அதை பேஸ் பண்ணி தான் பேசாங்க, லேபர் ஆர் ஹோமோஜினியஸ், பெர்ஃபெக்ட் காம்படிஷன், லேபர்ஸ் எஃபிஷியன்சி. ஸோ தே டாக்ஸ் அபவுட் ஒன்லி ஒன் ஃபேக்டர், தட் இஸ் லேபர். ஹியர் தே வர் டாக் அபவுட் ஆன் த ஜெனரல் தியரி ஆஃப் வேல்யூ. இங்கே லேபர் தியரி ஆஃப் வேல்யூ பற்றி படித்தாங்க, இங்கே ஜென்ரல் தியரி ஆஃப் வேல்யூ. இதில் ஒன்லி ஒன் ஃபேக்டர், திஸ் இஸ் ஒன் ஃபேக்டர் மாடல், இங்கே டூ ஃபேக்டர் மாடல், isn't it? லேபர் அண்ட் கேபிட்டல் டூ ஃபேக்டர் ஆர் மல்டி ஃபேக்டர், டூ இல்லைன்னா மல்டி ஃபேக்டர் மாடல். And then the attributes, the difference in the comparative cost is in the productive efficiency of the workers of the two countries இல்லையா. கம்பேரிட்டிவ் காஸ்ட்ல ப்ரொடக்ஷன் உடைய லேபர்ஸ் உடைய எஃபிஷியன்சி இருக்கு, isn't it? The labors are equal in efficiency சொல்லியிருக்கோம், பட் கம்பேரிட்டிவ் காஸ்ட்ல there is a difference. The attributes, the differences in the comparative cost, இங்க factor endowment cost. So these are the three difference they have given in your book detail. So go through the book. So with this, let me conclude this session. I'll give you the gains of international trade in the next video, girls. Thank you.